to like not greet everybody. And so we just have to do that. It's wonderful. So good to see you. So I'm Catherine Massey, Director of Music, and I'm happy to be with you in person today. We're going to sing a song together here together, but let me just explain a little bit. So we are carefully following protocols advised by my professional organization, the Association of UU Music Ministries, who is working in collaboration with the CDC and many choral groups around the country, who have determined that it's really not safe for large numbers of people to sing together. And so we have the choir here today, who will sing everything. And then what we're going to invite you to do, I would never, ever normally ask you not to sing, ever. So, so I'm going to ask you to hum. Okay, so to hum and just enjoy the feeling of that sound together that we make. And it will have to do for now. And we will move to singing when we can. So I appreciate that very much. And so the words will be on the order of service. And our first song is Here Together.
Good morning. How's this mic sound to y'all? Sounds good? I'm Kalani Kachela, the minister here, and I want to welcome you to our first in-person worship service for 18 months. So give yourselves a hand. Our opening words are by Marianne Hatchin Cotter. Welcome to this place of possibility. This is love's hearth, the home of hope, a refuge for minds in search of truth, unfolding, ever beautiful, ever strange. Here, compassion is our shelter, freedom our protection from the storms of bigotry and hate. In this abode, we might find comfort and courage. Here, may our sight become vision to see the unseen, to glimpse the good that is yet to be. Amen.
For the chalice lighting this morning, I'm sharing words from Carrie Kopek, blessings for the beginning. The things to do have been done, well, for the most part. The people we need are in place, almost. We are ready, or as ready as we will be. Bless this most perfectly imperfect beginning. May we find the right people to do the right things as we go. May we discover that what we needed was right here all along. And may we remember to stop and marvel at the magic of each moment as it floats by. Please join me in speaking the affirmation of our church and humming the words to our doxology in English and Spanish. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve others in community, to the end that all souls shall grow in harmony with creation. Thus do we covenant with one another. Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Las Cruces. We welcome those of you who are in our sanctuary this morning, and we welcome those who are joining us through the streaming technology of Zoom. Our minister, Reverend Kalani Kachela, is leading worship. I am Maggie Locatelli, and I am the service associate this morning. I am truly delighted to be. I wasn't expecting that. Unitarian Universalism has no creed or dogma. We are a covenant-based church, meaning that we agree to live in relationship with one another according to the Unitarian Universalist principles and our church's covenant of right relations. We embrace diversity in all its forms. Everyone is welcome. You can learn more about our church at our website, uuchurchlc.org. If you are visiting us today, we'd like to meet you. Please rise in body and spirit and introduce yourself by telling us your name, where you are from, and how you heard about our church. Do we have any visitors here in the sanctuary this morning? How do I take them?
Jason Galbraith, Assistant District Attorney, lived here for the past 10 months. Look forward to meeting and worshiping with all of you. Thank you.
And do we have visitors on Zoom? Thank you. We are very pleased that you have joined us this morning for our service. Please fill out a visitor's card if you're comfortable doing so, or, well, for perhaps shy visitors, you can leave your information on the chat, in the chat box. And you will receive invitations for activities and services at the church. Directly following this service, there will be time to fellowship with one another during coffee hour, hosted by the Hospitality Committee. They have crafted a new normal based on credible research and recommendations so that this time to meet and greet one another extends our focus on keeping everyone healthy. For now, members of the Hospitality Committee will serve us either water or coffee and bite-sized treats. We will enjoy these refreshments and conversation outside in the fresh air. To help keep things simple, the hospitality, hopefully not. Hi. One. Okay. The Hospitality Committee requests that for now, we not bring our homemade treats. One of the safe opening recommendations is not to share food from multiple households, as we have done in the past for coffee hours and potlucks. We are eager to reconnect and be in one another's presence again. Although our eagerness may be softened or stymied at a little bit by adjusting to multiple changes, it's important to keep in mind that the new normals are all that we are adapting to are all in place to support our communal attempts to safeguard one another. Today, I have these announcements. This past June, our Unitarian Universalist Association's General Assembly endorsed a social justice statement in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. The GA affirmed our denomination's commitment to, quote, create a healthcare system that is accessible, comprehensive, equitable, and culturally acceptable. The statement affirmed Unitarian Universalist agreement with the World Health Organization that health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. This action of immediate witness supports both the PRO, that is the Protecting the Right to Organize Act, and the Medicare for All Act, both being contemplated in Congress. The PRO Act would open the door for worker empowerment and democracy, including the ability to fight for equitable health care. Please remember working people and their families during this Labor Day weekend. You can look up and find out more about the PRO Act and contact your senators and let them know of your support. The Tombaugh Gallery is reopening. Artist Dennis Lujan will have an exhibit featuring colorful abstract art based on his eye floaters. He will also be showing found object sculptures with motors. The exhibit opens next Sunday on September 12th and continues through October 8th. For all activities on our campus, masks and social distancing for this gallery exhibit will be required. Reverend Kachela will be facilitating a Zoom training session on creating goals and developing committee budgets. The training will be held on September 7th, Tuesday at 6 o'clock. The training is for all lay leaders, committee chairs, and anyone who is interested in the topic. No registration is required. There is likely a a link in in an electronic order of service. And I know Sherry has sent out announcements also including that link. Thank you all for being here today.
There's no video. Hello, everyone. Can you hear us? This is Rihanna Thomas, a member of the Religious Education Committee, and I am right outside with 9 youth here for religious education this morning. We're so happy to be together. We are having a little bit of connectivity problems, so we're going to do a very short time for all ages. I'd like to just read you a poem called Water. Water for the flowers, water for the tree, water for the birds, water for the bee, water for the rivers, and water for the sea, water for the world, and water for me. Have a wonderful week, everyone.
We can't hear it. Can you adjust the volume at all?
I don't know how I would do that. Can you hear me at all?
Okay, so this is Sarah. I don't know if you can hear me on my phone, but you're a little quiet.
Okay. Oh, okay, Jen. All right, we're signing off from religious education. Bye-bye.
Okay.
It's signed off. Can we hear the video now? Can you play the video, Sarah? Looking for the video from Reverend Susan Frederick Gray.
Can we sing the children's blessing while we're I invite you to hum with us hymn number 1, May Nothing Evil Cross This Door, Jack Welch's favorite hymn.
One of the ways we support one another in community is through the sharing of joys, sorrows, and milestones. In these challenging times, it is crucial that we stay compassionately connected with one another. Our church's website has a link which allows you to confidentially submit a joy, sorrow, or milestone to Reverend Kachela. You can specify if you would like your submission shared with the caring team and/or the congregation, or if you prefer it remain confidential with the minister. These are the joys and sorrows which were received this past week. Diane Lee is asking for prayers for her friend Anthony Rodriguez, who has been fighting an infection for over 4 weeks at Memorial Medical Center. Our beloved member, Virginia Beatty, recently went into hospice care. Her family wishes all contacts be limited to contact with her daughter, Cora Patterson, who is also a church member. Cora's email is cora@hornworks.com. It's all lowercase. Let us hold Anthony and Virginia and their families in our hearts. We have a joy from our Director of Religious Education, Kelly Ingram. In June, Religious Education debuted a Makers Camp. A total of 12 teens and tweens joined together for 5 days of building skills and building community. Both Religious Education Committee and other members of the church joined us for this week of fun and learning, generously sharing their time, support, supervision, and outstanding expertise with the youth. A great big thank you to everyone who contributed to the camp. You are appreciated. For these and for all other concerns and joys deep within our hearts, we will light a second candle. Let us remember to treat one another with patience and love, knowing that we all hold hopes and dreams, wounds, and worries within us.
I invite you to join me for a moment of prayer and meditation. This prayer and meditation is from the Reverend Sarah Lowell. Spirit of life and love, holy mystery, may we hear the voice within calling us to ask what's possible, to walk to the edge, to shed the fear and need for control, and dance with the infinite for a while. May we set down the list of wrongs and hurts and see obstacles as invitations for innovation, beckoning our creativity. May we hear each other's voices of love and encouragement, and may we hear the cries of the world asking us, who do we choose to be? May we be vessels of comfort and compassion. May we be vessels of hope and healing. May we be vessels of peace and justice. May love prevail. We ask these and the prayers of our hearts into the silence. We ask these in the names of all persons, present and absent, known and unknown, remembered and forgotten, and all helpers of humankind. May we say collectively, wherever we are, Amen. May it be so, and Ashe.
The first sermon reading is from M. Scott Peck's The Different Drum, Community Making and Peace. If we're going to use the word community in a meaningful way, we must restrict it to a group of individuals who have learned how to communicate honestly with each other, whose relationships go deeper than their mask of composure, and who have developed some significant commitment to rejoice together, mourn together, and to delight in each other, make others' condition our own. The second reading is from The Neuroscience of Pleasure, Pain, and Addiction by Dr. Anna Lemke, a professor of psychiatry at Stanford. She's writing here about addictive behaviors. Why is it that telling the truth would be so important to stopping these dictate behaviors? My research led to a lot of fascinating different discoveries about the role of truth-telling in our lives, not just as a way to limit compulsive overconsumption and addiction, but also just to have better lives, to improve the quality of our relationships with others and with ourselves. One of the things I say is, this month, I want you to try really hard not to lie about anything. And by that, I mean not just lie about your substance use or your online behaviors or whatever it is. I want you to try really hard not to lie about anything. Why you were late to work, why you had a second piece of cake, or whatever it is. And I warn that it is really hard because the average adult tells about 1 to 2 lies a day. We all lie in ways large and small, and it's really hard to tell the truth. To tell the truth, you actually have to have like an active sort of truthometer going on where you're sort of constantly observing what you're saying and saying to yourself, now, am I telling the truth? Was that really the whole truth and nothing but the truth? So she says about truth telling, I think it has really important brain health properties. And the most important among them is probably that it strengthens ties between our prefrontal cortex and our limbic system.
It is now time for our water communion, which is an important element of our ingathering service this morning. We invited people to bring water with them, and if you don't have it, you can come and pour from our vase up front into the larger vase. And if you're at home, we invite you to pour yours at the time. The following ritual was by my colleague, the Reverend Gary Kowalski, who now serves the UU congregation in Taos, New Mexico. We draw from many wells, from oceans and rivers, from lakes and streams, from the muddy Mississippi to the roaring Rio Grande. At one time, it was the roaring Rio Grande. From faraway places and from the ponds and puddles in our own backyards. Yet, all are refreshing, each rivulet is cleansing, each capable of nurturing and sustaining life. As people of faith, we draw inspiration from many sources, from earth and sky, from poetry and legend, from art and music, from conscience and the law written in our own hearts, each satisfying our deep thirst for meaning and the yearning for justice that rolls down like waters in the soul. As I call forth the name of the spiritual tradition that inspires you, I invite you to rise in body or spirit in honor of the religious diversity that enlivens our Unitarian Universalist faith. Christian, Jewish, Buddhist, humanist, pagan, theist, feminist. Several joined or stood up or tried to re-rise again for feminists. Native American, Hindu, music lovers, I added that one when the music came. Muslim and Taoist. May be seated. We bring our water into communion to share with one another, just as we pool the many insights that inform our own singular experience. For a droplet of water alone has no color. It remains clear and translucent, almost invisible. But in combination, the many drops together can create a brightly varied rainbow, unseen realities made real and present to all to witness. Together, we aspire to represent the full spectrum of humanity, to make love, justice, and hope visible upon the earth. I will start this sharing from the church's water tap, and I will invite you to come forth to commingle your water. If you're joining us from home or virtually, I invite you to pour your water wherever you are.
Ranwa Hamaima gives us this beautiful blessings of the water. This water is sacred. It is made sacred by the many hands that have poured it with intention and love, the many stories that each drop contains, the many lives surrounding it in this unique moment, connected by commitment and faith. This water is sacred. May it continue to flow through this community with shining reflections of the unique gifts that flow through each of our members. Please join me by responsibly saying, "This water is sacred" on my cue. This water is sacred. May it continue to nurture this community with sustaining hope that we journey together through ripples of growth and change. This water is sacred. May it continue to bless this community with loving reminders of our collective responsibility to one another and the world. This water is sacred. May its ripples be a reminder that the changes and growth within this community bring movement and transformation to the world beyond our doors. This water is sacred. May its purity offer grace to our community and the willingness to forgive ourselves and one another when we make mistakes. This water is sacred. In moments when we are confused or uncertain, may it bring us clarity of purpose and commitment. This water is sacred. In moments when the reservoirs of hearts and spirits are drained by sorrow or pain, may it nourish them with the knowledge that we are surrounded by a deep and abundant love. This water is sacred.
Well, we made it back after 18 months. I want to have you give yourselves a round of applause for showing up today. And of course, we're grateful for all of our visitors and friends and members who are joining us by Zoom. It's been a long time coming, and I'm just grateful that everyone has hung in there with us, been so faithful to this beloved community, and still standing strong, rising strong, and being the UUs that we are committed to be. So thank you for that. Well, tomorrow is Labor Day. It is our national celebration for work and the labor movement. We celebrate with cookouts and social time, and it is also the beginning of Rosh Hashanah, the high Jewish holy days. This time of year brings people together. One of the most important aspects of the fall is the act of regathering. I passed by the NMSU football stadium last Saturday for the season kickoff around 11 o'clock in the morning, and there were rows of trucks and cars lined up for tailgating. People gather at their tailgates and share food and drink. Folks exchange stories, laugh, and appreciate being together. And by the number of vehicles lined up, you would have thought it was about 73 degrees out there, but it was really 93 and scorching hot. So that tells me that people were gathering around a common identity, a shared purpose, and encircling people that they really love. And I'm referring to what we call agape love, which is love rooted in caring, compassion, and camaraderie. In the fall, people also celebrate homecoming. They go to their hometown, their college or university for a football game, but the actual reason is not football. It's getting together with friends and having fun. Some of my best experiences were at homecoming with my Morehouse classmates, where we'd go around from place to place, party to party, laughing and just having a great time together. What these events have in common is that they are built around community. This church is a community that loves being together. Many steadily craved returning to this sanctuary to share this space, and we want to have fun together. But it's more than just having a good time. We gather around our specific identity, purpose, and mission. And those three things make us a community. Scott Peck says in his book, The Different Drum, Community Making and Peace, if we're going to use the word community meaningfully, we must restrict it to a group of individuals who have learned how to communicate honestly with each other, whose relationships go deeper than their mask. And this mask is kind of wearing me out, so it's gonna come off. And people who have developed some significant commitment to rejoice together, mourn together, and to delight in each other and to make each other's conditions their own. Over the last year and a half, we did our best to create these cornerstones of community. We built community with our families, amongst friends, and our inner circles. And some met on Zoom, some over time have regathered together. And I might say that we mourned in ways that were very new to us. We lost members, people who died, we lost friends, and we are still adjusting and finding ways to grieve and honor those losses. Here at the UU Church of Las Cruces, we learn that you engage in community making by being intentional. Your best results happen when you can leverage the skills of many. It helped us to acknowledge that things wouldn't be normal. And I encouraged our staff to give up perfection, to abandon perfection and strive for good enough. And from there, we were able to create sustainable community. For me, the big takeaway of the pandemic was your commitment to mission. Being remote didn't stop you from rising up for your beliefs and your convictions. You stayed justice-minded and love-focused. And it was beautiful to watch your love for this church by the caring, greeting, and hospitality, leading worship, religious education, music, curating the library, developing leaders and leadership, administration, and of course, our multicultural efforts have really taken off. I'm hoping that we can embrace a new normal. And for me, that means doing things that we used to if we can. But we shouldn't impose the old ways upon our new ways. During COVID time, which still continues, technology has changed us. And I expect some of those changes to be permanent. One important part of the permanent new normal is our renovated sanctuary. So I'm going to give a personal thanks to Brother Charlie Schultz, who's behind me. Bill Fitzgerald, who is in the sanctuary. David Rice, who is joining us online. And all others who helped us come together with their oversight and hard work to make these changes a reality. So let's show also some love for our staff who's made this happen. Some of you haven't seen or may have seen for the first time Sarah Reyes, who is back with Elwin. Sherry Kofeld is here. He's been really burning the midnight oil on and burning candles on both sides. And of course, Kelly is in RE with the children, youth, and the RE program. Community making is hard work. Just the honest talk. Oh, Catherine's behind me. We couldn't have done it without Catherine. And to show how much we love her, later this month, she is headed over the seas for sabbaticals. Let's give her a hand. And of course, we've had many guest preachers. We've had Maggie lead us with Haney for the service associates and many of the guest musicians that are here with us today. So we thank you all. Community making is hard work. Just the honest talk alone is a full-time job. The psychiatrist Anna Lemke has done groundbreaking research on the links between addiction, pleasure, and pain. And Lemke says the average person lies 1 or 2 times a day. We lie to our partners, to our families, our friends, our coworkers, and ourselves. And one of our resident psychologists, Brother Skip Shelton, says that people can even break it down further to how many lies you tell per hour. That shows just how difficult it is to stay truthful. Well, how do we break this human tendency? Lemke says we need a truth-o-meter running all the time. But first, we have to ask ourselves, did I tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Truth-telling, she says, is the path to better lives. Speaking of better lives, there's a story of 2 doctors and an HMO manager who die and line up together at the pearly gates of heaven. One doctor steps forward and tells St. Peter, as a pediatric surgeon, I save hundreds of children. And St. Peter says, come on in. The next doctor says, as a psychiatrist, I help thousands of people live better lives. St. Peter tells him to go ahead. The last man says, I am an HMO manager. I got thousands and countless families cost-effective health care. St. Peter says, you may enter. And he says, you can stay 3 days. And after that, you can go straight to Hades. I didn't use the real H word there. Forgive me. How can we go deeper into relationships here? How might we live with our truthometers when we communicate with each other? And how do we engage others with honesty and joy? And how do we make others' conditions our own? That means that each of us must voluntarily share with the other their condition. It means we must listen to one another with understanding without judging. After all, sometimes we think we know a person, but they fool us. A guy has a talking dog, and he brings it to a talent scout. This dog can speak English, he claims, to an unimpressed agent. Okay, sport, the guy says to the dog, what's on top of a house? Roof, the dog replies. Oh, geez, come on, the talent agent responds, all dogs go roof. No, wait, the guy says. He asks the dog, what does sandpaper feel like? Rough, the dog answers. The talent agent gives a condescending blank stare. He is losing his patience. No, hang on, the guy says. This one will really amaze you. He turns and asks the dog, who, in your opinion, is the greatest baseball player of all time? Ruth, goes the dog. And the talent scout, having seen enough, boots him out of his office onto the street. And the dog turns to the guy and says, maybe I should have said Derek Jeter. Thanks for the corniness. Well, homecoming and tailgating are significant events because we can learn from them. Why, you might ask? Because they allow us to put aside issues that separate us. We go from separation to appreciation. We focus our attention with greater intention. Ingathering is similar. We turn our attention to our intention. We intentionally appreciate each other's presence. So whether you're wearing a red, yellow, or a green dot, or you're at home with no dots, I want you to show some love to someone in your space. Let's continue this community building work that Scott Peck teaches us. That means taking community to the next level, knowing each other, communicating truthfully, rejoicing and mourning and delighting in each other. That's how we make others' conditions our own. This communal enterprise is also about vertical relationships. Make time to connect with God, the divine, the universe, nature, the cosmos, and the earth. We can call community building keeping it 100. So keep your truthometer running 24/7. Whether you have showed up here in person or on Zoom or are viewing our YouTube channel, reach out to your neighbor and show them some love. This fall, I encourage you to do some tailgating or attend a homecoming, whether virtually or in person, and enjoy your Labor Day weekend and blessed Rosh Hashanah. Amen. May it be so. And Ashe.
At last, we are worshiping in our refurbished sanctuary, and we're streaming worship services to include as many people as possible. As a community of faith and generosity, we weathered more than a year and a half during which no services were held in person. Many of the church's expenses continued during the past 18 months, and some will increase as we reopen and expand services and programs. It is vitally important that we all fulfill our financial pledges. All through the pandemic, the church continued our financial support of organizations identified by the Social Justice Committee as recipients for our Change for Change program. The recipient for this quarter is El Calvario Immigration Resource Center, which is located at the El Calvario United Methodist Church. The center provides hospitality for newly arrived immigrants as well as immigrant families living in our county, some of whom were not eligible for pandemic assistance from the government. El Calvario helps them access local resources for housing, healthcare, legal assistance, and emergency food. In support of recently arrived Afghan refugees, the mission has been expanded to serve as a collection point for donated items, which will be passed on to the Red Cross to be delivered to refugees who will be staying at military installations in our region. such as Fort Bliss's Doña Ana County Range and Holloman Air Force Base near Alamogordo. You can make your pledge or donate to Change for Change by putting checks and change in the basket, by sending your checks to the church, or by using the Give link on our website. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, sisters, let's go down. Let's go down. Won't you come on down? Oh, sisters, let's go down, down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown, good Lord, show me the way. Oh, brothers, let's go down, let's go down, come on down. Oh, brothers, let's go down, down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown, good Lord, show me the way. Oh, sisters, let's go down, let's go down, come on down. Oh, sisters, let's go down, down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown, good Lord, show me the way. Oh, brothers, let's go down, let's go down, come on down. Oh, brothers, let's go down, down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown, good Lord, show me the way. Oh, fathers, let's go down, come on down. Oh, fathers, let's go down, down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall bear the starry crown, good Lord, show me the way. We are pleased that you all are attending this worship service today. If you are looking for a spiritual home and are sympathetic with Unitarian Universalist values and principles, the Unitarian Universalist Church of Las Cruces may be a home for you. We believe that when you join the church, you are entering into a warm and deep relationship with the church and all our members and friends. You are becoming a part of something much bigger than any of us. You're becoming a part of a movement to change our community and our world. There are several routes you could take to membership. Speak with the minister, After an in-person service, call the church and leave a message about your interest, and a person from the membership committee will call you back. Or sign the virtual membership book in the link in the electronic order of service.
I invite you to hum along with our closing hymn, Here Together for Going Forth.
Oh, to give a special shout out to our safe opening team or task force that helped us create the protocols for gathering safely again together. And we look forward also to a new task force who will be helping us look at church safety. Our closing words are from the Reverend Scott Taylor. As so much closed, we were opened. Normal was taken, but it was also turned inside out. Very little is inevitable. Most of it is a choice. This is what we have learned. So now the question comes, do we really want to go back? We can weave a new world, friends. The straw can be spun into gold. The door has swung wide with possibility trying to pull us through. So may today mark our first step, and may it be the one we take side by side. So be it. Amen.
Please join me in speaking the words for extinguishing the flame. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Would you like to rise and body your spirit to help make some sound for this postlude? May we shine a light of love. Thank you.